Welcome back, 3D students. In this video, we're going to actually attach the mesh to the bones so that we can deform it when we move our control objects. So let's get started. So let's look in the Scene Explorer here. And remember, we created a layer called Mesh, and it is frozen. So let's unfreeze that. Then I'm going to return to the perspective view by pushing P on my keyboard. I'm going to select my mesh object and make it a better color, maybe sort of a green. And now what we need to do is go to the Modify tab, make sure we have the body mesh or the mesh selected, and we're going to click the Modify list and let's find Skin. Now, nothing's going to happen here until we add the bones that are going to affect the mesh in this list here. So let's click Add, and that'll bring up a list of our bones. And we're going to open up our bone hierarchy, and we want all of them except the bone end. I'm just going to click all these and click select. And now that we've done that, when we grab one of our control objects, I'm going to make my rotate tool bigger by pushing the plus sign. You can make it bigger by pushing plus and smaller by pushing minus. I'm going to rotate it in the x-axis, and you can see that it bends my mesh here. Let's try this one. Pretty good. And this one. Now let's see what it looks like when we do all three of them. Not bad. Now if we hide our bone objects and our helpers, then when we rotate this, you can see that it looks pretty good. Now it doesn't look perfect. We need to adjust the skin weights so that it bends a little smoother. But let's try something. Let's try adding a turbo smooth on it. And that doubles the geometry here. And let's see what that looks like. Looks a little better. Okay, let's take that turbo smooth off. And let's adjust the weights. So to adjust the weights, we need to click Edit Envelopes here in the Skin Modifier parameters. And you can see that there's a little envelope object around the selected bone, which is bone 1. Now we need to adjust how these deform. But in order to do that, we need to deform the mesh. And when we deform the mesh, we need to be able to return it back to its original state. And if we undo the movement of these control objects, will undo what we did with the weights. So what we need to do is turn on Auto Key, and we're going to move forward just a few frames. Select all three of these control objects, get the Rotate tool, and we're going to deform them in the x-axis. Now we've got a deformation that we can easily undo. So let's go ahead and deform the mesh. Click on the mesh object and click Edit Envelopes and select bone 1. Now these envelopes have points on them that you can click and expand. So let's click this point here, and then we're going to move this and increase its influence a little bit. And then let's select the next bone, and you see this little faint line here. If we click on that line, that just selects that envelope. Let's grab this one and increase its influence as well. Go ahead and see if we can do this. And let's grab this one and do the same thing. Wondering if they just need to be really, really big. We've also got these inner ones here. Oh, there we go. And this is just a kind of a process of trial and error here. You just have to kind of play around with these things. You can also select the bones over in this list here. There we go. So I think that looks pretty good. Again, this is kind of a process of trial and error. I'm going to go back to this one and see if I can make this look a little better. You can also grab the very end of it and move the whole envelope around like that. That doesn't really do much. All right, so I'm sorry you had to watch me do that, but that is how you adjust the weights. There are more precise ways to do it. Down here, there is a weight table and a weight tool that allows you to select vertices, specific vertices, like so. That allows you to select specific vertices and assign a weight to them. But we don't need to do that with this. All right, so in the next video, what we're going to do is animate this thing. And I'll see you then.